fishing, and I think we can say one of the biggest events in all of sports this year, the Forest Wood Open, part of the Walmart FLW Tour. We're down to 5 anglers now who are fishing for the $200,000 championship. Among them, some of the biggest names in bass fishing. Dion Hibden, Bernie Schultz, Kevin Worth, who's been with the tour from the beginning, Jim Moyna, Craig Wickland, anglers fishing their home waters. What's it going to take for you to win it?
Good fishing. I got the overcast weather I wanted. We're going to keep it home here in Minnesota. I got a feeling. Me or Craig, one of us two are going to do it.
Jim Moyna, one of the guys who's going to fish for the $200,000 first prize.
Okay, do I think anybody held back yesterday? Heck no. A hold back and sandbag for $200,000.
$200,000 first prize. This is big. Like we say, don't lose your spot. The Walmart FLW Tour comes to Lake Minnetonka for the Forest Wood Open.
Sandbag for $200,000. Give me a break.
Let's start our day off with
150 of our regular FLW pros were with us at the beginning of this event, and each hoped to be among the 5 guys shaking hands on this final day. The Lake Minnetonka, located just outside of Minneapolis, has been a true test for these fishermen, and they have but one more day to figure it out. The weather forecast doesn't look that good. The boat traffic, the spectator traffic, remember this is a Saturday, will be at a maximum, but hey, we wouldn't have it any other way.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Bill. Nothing but a party, right? Why am I so nervous?
I knew, Jerry McInnes, you would not lose your place here at the Mall of America, not when we got this event going on, the biggest fishing tournament in the history of professional bass fishing, a $200,000 first prize. And think about all the 5 guys who are fishing in the finals now. On day number 3, we're within 1 pound of each other. That kind of gives you a clue as to what kind of race this is going to be.
Well, the whole thing has been pretty exciting, but this will be a great weigh-in today, I have a feeling. And you know, the biggest reason for that is the lake produces so many 2- and 3-pound fish that most of our competitors catch the same amount of fish every day. Every now and then someone will catch a 4-pounder, even a 5-pounder, but the lake is not noted for big fish, so no one's going to pull away. No one's probably going to pull away, or no one's going to probably drop out of it. So it's going to stay even all day long.
All right, grab your seat, draw a deep breath, and get ready for the biggest fishing tournament of all time, the Forest Wood Open.
The Walmart FLW Tour is brought to you by Walmart. Always low prices, always. By Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time. By Evinrude Intruder 150 with fit fuel injection. And by Citgo. Citgo says, go.
It's good that people are starting to watch fishing tournaments up here. I know they do a lot in the south, and you know, it's a great sport.
Greg Wickland is talking about the large crowds that have followed the 5 finalists out to their starting spots.
Probably the largest sport in the country, but it's tough to watch.
Greg Wickland is from Orono, Minnesota, not too far away, and well, I guess we'll see if he can get his first fish to the boat now.
Yeah, and Tommy, you know, we call both him and Jim Moyna locals to the lake, but actually they don't live on the lake, but they do fish it an awful lot, so obviously they have a little bit of an advantage.
Well, they were a lot bigger than that yesterday here. But right now...
Boy, we don't talk about it a lot, but these guys go to great lengths to take care of their fish. First fish in the boat, they reach over and turn on their aerator.
Hopefully I won't be taking that fish to the mall. He doesn't look like a very good shopper.
Well, they should bite. They should hit it as soon as it hits the water. Oh, God, he got off. God dog it.
Bernie Schultz still sitting on 0 right now. And what's the significance of the buoy there, Jerry?
Well, I mentioned a minute ago how they turn the aerator on when they catch the first fish. When they hear the first strike, they throw a marker out. They don't want to lose that spot.
Boy, that hurts. Losing the first fish of the morning really hurts.
I have a feeling Bernie will have more chances. Back to Craig Wickland here.
And look what a crowd he has in the background. And he's about to score again here, it looks like. But that crowd that's way out in front of his boat, I think, is actually over there with another one of our contestants.
Well, that's a little better, but he's still too small for them all.
Craig's crowd is actually behind him on our left-hand side. He's a lure designer. Did you know that, Tommy?
No, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. He
but it helps.
Works for Berkeley and you know, is quite a prominent lure designer.
He's certainly frisky.
Like he's saying, they're too small for the mall, that fish was.
With a tough bite like this, I'm cutting off about 1 inch of the worm and rigging it as short as I can because they're not very aggressive. And I want to make sure that if they pick up the bait, they get the part with the hook in it. Let's do that again.
Ah, jeez. I swear. He followed it up and ate half the lure.
Both he and Craig are kind of talking about how light the fish are striking this morning, and boy, that's a big part of it. Not only do you have to find them, but you have to figure out exactly how they're taking your bait.
The first one thumped it real hard and just didn't have it all the way in his mouth. And the bait's so bulky, they got a chance to get it without getting the hook. See if we can turn it around here.
Bernie needs to turn it around. You talked about how the fish are not really biting so robustly today, Jerry. You know, we had the cold front go through on the first day of the tournament. Now we got some weather building up out to the east, to the west, I should say again. Does that have anything to do with it?
Oh, you know it does. These fish can be very...
There's a fish.
Oh,
come on, baby.
Now we're getting with it. This is turning it around, Tommy.
Yeah.
No, I would imagine that weather probably has more to do
when they fell off the hook. That shows you how they're biting.
With how these fish react to your presentation than any other thing.
It's a pound and a half.
Anyway. Pound and a half fish for Bernie Schultz, and he'll be looking to cull that one later. Dion Hibden looked like he got a bullwhip in his hand.
Boy, he's really after him, isn't he?
Oh.
And we saw Bernie catch his first fish a minute ago. We saw Craig catch his first. There goes the buoy. In this wind particularly, Tommy, it is so important. Look, while he lands his fish, he will drift, man, a long way away from that buoy, which means he has drifted a long way away from the place where he caught that fish. Hey, these fish are very congregated in these little holes around the grass, and if you could stay in the right place, you know, you're going to catch more than one fish because they're not there by themselves. There's more than one fish there. But now we've seen our first 3 guys catch their first fish, Tommy.
That may be the best one of the lot right there. Not a bad one.
Well, that's the way to start her. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. On the board, sports fans.
This is kind of a big milfoil flat right here, and what I keep casting to is a little rise in the bottom with some it's a little bit harder bottoms. Probably consists of sand, maybe some gravel, a little bit of rock on there, and the fish have been sitting on that rise really good. It looks like I mean, this is ideal fishing conditions this morning, and if I can't get a bite here this morning, it looks like they're either not using it anymore. Although I had one bite already, but he just kind of bumped it. It's either that, or it's either they're not using it anymore, or I've just kind of wore them out, I guess, over the last few days.
This is our first real look at Jim Moyna, and remember, he is probably the favorite here just because of his experience here on Lake Minnetonka.
There was a fish right there. Dang it. That might get him going. There's a fish. Got me down the milfoil. Still there, though. I'm not sure how that baby's hooked. Gotta be hooked good. About a 2.5 pound fish.
We talk about Jim's experience here, Jerry. It's not as if the other guys haven't fished Minnetonka before. Most of these guys have fished Minnetonka.
That's true. In fact, well, like Dion and Bernie, for every one of them, boy, they've fished a number of tournaments up here, and each one of them, incidentally, has been very successful up there. So, heck, it isn't, we're maybe out of line by calling Jim the favorite here.
Okay.
Jim Moyna's from Hopkins, Minnesota, not too far away.
I like that. I'm very pleased. I was thinking over strategy last night. It's like, okay, I'm sitting right now, I'm $30,000 richer minimum. That's pretty darn good, you know. Why not go for the gusto? Because if my big fish go, they bite, you know, it'd be over. I'm talking myself into it slowly here. Slowly.
And the media boat, seen around a number of our competitors this morning, has a full house today. A lot of interest in Jim Moyna.
That was a fish. Oh. I just felt resistance, and I'm like, well, is that a weed again? Or, because every time I pull it, it's pulling against a weed. No idea how big this one is. Oh, that's acceptable. Bigger than the last one. Oh yeah, totally acceptable. Like I said, this could be trouble with this one-handed netting. Three-pounder.
Another 3-pounder for Jim Moyna. If you get 5 3-pounders, that's 15 pounds of fish. Is that going to be enough to do it, Jerry?
Man, I was amazed at your mathematics there. You were sharp, man.
Well, I tell you what, I don't just sit around twiddling my thumbs all day.
No, it won't do it. You know, it will really give you a good day, but somebody has got to catch 1 4 or 5-pounder. Could be Kevin Worth, huh?
Kevin Worth from LaGrange, Kentucky. Kevin, he looks pretty tall right there, but actually he's a fairly small stature. Kevin was actually a professional jockey. He rode in the Kentucky Derby. As a matter of fact, in 1981, he finished 17th aboard Mythical Ruler. How about that?
That's amazing. You're not only a mathematical genius, but you're a historian, too, aren't you?
Yeah, and also lost money on the show bet there, so.
Is something wrong with Kevin's microphone here?
I don't know. He's pretty intense today.
Yeah, he's a very quiet man, and he is very serious. I think it's kind of funny. He acts like he's not, but he is.
Okay. I'm not a klutz, by the way. Not a klutz. Although that video footage there may prove otherwise, or show otherwise.
These fish can be right on top of each other. You can flip in the very same hole 4 or 5 times and catch 4 or 5 fish, or more. And they can be big on this lake. We haven't had that luck yet this morning, but we're getting close. They're getting better.
You look at Bernie's face and all the fishermen out here today, really, they just seem a whole lot more serious.
Oh, I can't imagine why.
$200,000 first prize, the richest bass fishing tournament ever.
It's a better fish here.
And Bernie, as you know, is a very versatile fisherman. Likes to saltwater fish a lot. He's really a young name on the
Not much better. He's better.
on the circuit. Although, gosh, time he's been around, it seems like forever.
And he's very popular around the world.
Yeah,
too. He's got a lot of
is.
fans in Japan and in Europe
And you know
as well.
what, Tommy? You might be asking yourself, how would I get in the FLW?
Well, I tell you what, all the tournaments are full, obviously, with this much money at stake. But
That's
there is
right.
a sort of a minor league, right?
That's right. We have a minor league system that I can take a few seconds here and tell you about. It's called the EverStart Series, and there are different divisions around the country, and you have to work your way into the FLW Tour. And without really going into a lot of details, let me say the best thing to do is contact the folks there at Operation Bass over in Benton, Kentucky. Ask them to send you some information on this minor league system.
All right. It's a little better. 2-pounder anyway.
Youch.
Looks like a well-used bait.
It's probably what a bass says. Youch.
Craig Wickland, one of the local favorites, and who knew that all the sailboat enthusiasts would turn out to watch bass fishing today, Jerry?
Those are his spectators.
Oh, they love the bass fishing. And there's our camera guy trying to get in position.
How you doing today?
Working hard, aren't we?
Oh, we are.
Hey, I'll tell you something about Craig as he lands his fish. You know, Jay Yellis became kind of ill, and guess who took Jay Yellis's place on the list of 150 fishermen?
The last man in the tournament, and there he goes. A little bit better fish.
And guess what jig he's catching these fish on?
What's that?
A Jay Yellis jig.
Lucky.
Oh, I tell you, talk about squeaking in. The last man to make it on the entry side of this tournament was an alternate named Craig Wickland, and he has fished his way all the way into the final
What a
five.
great story.
Very early on today. He's already got 4 fish in the boat. You got to be a happy man, Craig.
Well, I am happy that I've got 4 fish, but they're really small fish. They're not mall fish.
You're going to be looking for the big ones. You're going to be looking for them pretty soon, I guess.
Yeah, I'm looking for one now. I decided not to go for the limit and just go after some larger bass.
Well, Craig, have you calmed down a little bit since last night?
Yeah, a little bit. I
thought
really wired. This has really got the adrenaline going.
Yeah, we thought we were going to have to slap you there for a minute. And
Yeah. The first day I had a cardiologist for an amateur.
Huh? Yes.
Yeah, I had a cardiologist for an amateur on the first day, and that made me feel good.
Yeah. Well, you're on your own today.
I asked him if he knew CPR. I told him to hang around.
Should we have him standing by today?
I think so.
Okay, well, we will do exactly that. Craig, right before the takeoff this morning, you talked to me, and you gave a very good explanation of why it can be bad to know so many good places to catch big fish on a lake like this when you're in a tournament situation.
Would you run through that again for us?
The fishing's real tough right now, and you just got to fish the spots that you believe in the most real hard. And if you start thinking about too many spots, you're kind of already fishing another spot before you're done with the one you're at. And you need to just really concentrate and think positive on the spot that you're on.
Well, that's great.
I'd like to know what you think the difference, and I don't know, everyone always talks about this. I don't think there's any difference between a southern fisherman and a northern fisherman. Would you agree with that? Or
Do you think there is some difference between them?
No, I really don't think there is much difference. We all got a common goal, and that's to get the fish in the boat, and everybody does what they have to do to accomplish that.
I think maybe it just gives everybody something to talk about, don't you?
Yeah, I do too.
We talk about our fishermen from up north. Now we're taking a look at a guy from about as far south as you can get, the Gator from Gainesville, Florida, Bernie Schultz. And how's he fishing this lure today, Jerry?
Well, do you remember there is his buoy, too.
Oh, yeah.
Just there in front of his boat. He has got his little place marked. But you remember last week he was telling his amateur not to be moving the lure so much, so he is putting it on the bottom and trying to just shake it. Dion's probably doing a very similar thing to what Bernie was doing too. And I know that that Dion is, well, just like everyone else, is trying to find these little openings in that grass. You know, one of the bigger reasons that these guys fish these grass lines and these little holes in the grass and in the tops of the grass is because there's lots of bait fish and lots of brim hide in that grass and around the grass. So that's the biggest reason that these bass are here, and of course these guys are right on.
Welcome back. You're watching the Walmart FLW Tour, and we heard Craig Wickland say it earlier today. That fish is not big enough to go to the mall, and that's what he meant. Was the amazing thing about this tournament, the fact that we're having the weigh-in here in the Mall of America, America's largest shopping mall, and you can get lost in here, but you can always find your way right back to the center, go to the rotunda, and that's where we have our weigh-in set.
Isn't that amazing? It's just a very unusual setup, and boy, if you couldn't find it in this place, I guess, Tommy, you didn't need it.
You didn't need it. You didn't need it at all.
We're back out with Kevin Worth, and Kevin hasn't caught many fish so far today, but seems like every time he's caught one, it's been a pretty good quality fish. You know what? He's fishing with a jerk bait right now, which is a little bit different than everyone else has been using. I think he fishes with a Bomber Long A. And of course, this is a reaction lure, and he again fishing around the moss and around the tops of the grass. He's trying to get the fish to come out of it, thinking that it's a bluegill.
Kevin Worth of LaGrange, Kentucky, was the pounds leader on day number 3 for qualifying for the 5 finalists. And Kevin, I tell you what, you are one of the guys that has been with the FLW Tour since the very start. I would have to guess that you haven't missed a single tournament, right?
I wasn't able to fish the first couple. Other than that, I fished all the rest of them, yes, sir.
Feel like you paid your dues, though, right?
I guess you could say that.
It's got to feel good to be in the position you're in right now, though, huh?
Oh, yeah, you know, I can't complain. You know, I really wasn't on anything before this tournament started, and I just happened to be fortunate to get a few good bites and start putting a little together, and it's just coming to now. But it's a little bit slower today, and I caught one 3-pounder here a minute ago, a while ago, and the way I was caught most of my fish yesterday. But the strange thing about it, I snagged him in the back.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, and I was real fortunate to get him in. So I really feel that there's plenty here, and when you do get a bite, it's a pretty good one. I got 2 over 3 pounds and one about 1.5 pounds. So, you know, there's several of them 3-pounders. And right before I caught that second 3-pounder, I had about a 4-pounder come up on this particular bait, and I felt him tick it as I was coming down through there, and then right as I got close to the boat, he kind of rolled on it again and missed it. And then right after that, I caught that 3-pounder about 4 or 5 casts later.
Hey, well, Kevin, you couldn't talk to us much yesterday about the method of fishing that you were doing. Could you talk to us a little bit about it today?
What I'm doing, I'm fishing a little transition area, and if, you know, there's a little canal right over here just beside me, and then there's a big bay right up here in front of me. And this is a kind of a little grass flat, and it's got, as these fish spawn and they're pulling out and they're going to go on out into the main lake, they use this as a transition area, and they're pulling to it. So I you know, I feel like there's more and more coming to me, but I feel like there's more leaving me too. So that's why I'm just kind of doing what I'm doing, sticking with it. And, you know, if I catch something, I can. If I don't, I'm not going to worry about it.
These guys are tough at finding fish.
That's got to be the key to it, huh?
When you get right down to it, fish are kind of easy to catch. Getting around them is what's tough, and that's what really separates the good fisherman from the average fisherman.
Something nibbled on it there. There he is. Oh, yeah. Yes. Yes, this is going to be big fish. Oh, yeah. Oh. Shiz, I think it's, wow, I think it's foul hooked. Yep, it's over. If I get on these fish, man, this tournament is over. Oh, no, oh, did she eat it? Yeah. Oh, man, it's over. I get these roller fish going, man, it's gonna be done. It's gonna be done, man. Oh. Looks like they stuck their noses out of the weeds today.
I'm all right now. I'm not gonna panic, but I'm gonna sit. I'm gonna just kind of work this back and forth and work it real slow and hope one pulls up here. And I think they're in that grass because, you know, I've had a few little bites there. And
it's pretty serious rain there to the north.
The Walmart FLW Tour is brought to you by Walmart. Always low prices, always. By Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time. By Fixed Fuel Injection, the best of all worlds. And by Chevy, the most dependable, long-lasting trucks on the road.
Walmart FLW Tour, and this is the $1 million Forest Wood Open on Lake Minnetonka, and the rain has finally caught up with Jim Moyna.
Come on, baby.
Well, the wind has caught up with Bernie Schultzer. Actually, the wind caught up with everybody pretty early. They've been fighting this wind pretty hard. And this may really work into Bernie's little plan here of throwing this spinnerbait. Matter of fact, it might work into Kevin Worth's plan of throwing that jerk bait, because these fish, I don't know if I can say they'll get shallow, but the fish that are shallow will probably react to a lure a lot better with these windy conditions than they did with the sun out.
A little bit of help. This is it for the day, boys. If we keep this overcast, I'm not gonna try to fish deep and fight that wind if I can get 3-pounders shallow.
There's a better one.
Craig Wickland hanging in there, doing his best. In fact, though, Jim Moyna is the only one who right now looks like he could pull away from the pack.
Well, I don't know if he's much better. He felt good, though. I just don't remember yesterday.
There's one. Please stay on the hook this time.
Jim Moyna in the rain, and obviously he has lost some fish somewhere along the line, or he wouldn't be saying that.
Yeah, he's evidently had a little bad luck, but for the most part, I thought his day was going pretty good. You know, we heard him talk about those roller, what fish? What does that mean? Well, that jig that he fishes with is called a roller jig, roll-R jig.
Oh.
And it's a heavy jig. He throws it out at, you know, as he has said all along for 2 days now, he throws it out in the areas where there's not as much grass, and when he gets them going on that, then he calls them roller bass, and boy, they are, as we saw, pretty good ones.
They're good ones.
There we go. That's a quality fish. 2.5-pounder.
I don't think that's one of his great fish, one of his roller fish, but as he says, that's a quality fish there.
Yeah, he's fishing 2 or 3 different methods. All these guys are fishing more than one method. But Jim's fish are pretty good ones, you know, and he's not catching any of them little ones. These are pretty good quality fish.
Okay, that makes a limit of 5 right there.
At the launch this morning, the perfect picture of confidence mixed in with some good adrenaline was Jim Moyna, who's got to be the local favorite. Of course, he is the local favorite. He's done it all. He's won the championship on Minnetonka many times before.
And Jim Moyna, it looks like everything is going according to plan this morning.
Yeah, it's been a good start to the day. I don't don't know why I'm doing this right now. What I'm doing, I should probably, as soon as we're done with this conversation, I'm probably going to pick up and go hog hunting.
Tell us what you're doing right now.
Well, I got a spot in the milfoil here where there's been a school of fish holding here for, ever since we started practicing for the tournament. And I pulled up first and started throwing a crankbait, the new one by Rapala that's coming out. And I caught, well, first I hooked one, and that thing somehow he got off, and then I caught one on it. And then I threw a Carolina rig up in here, caught another one. That was after vigorously cranking it several more times. Yeah. And so I threw a Carolina rig in here, and the first cast caught one. But now I'm throwing a jig. What I'm doing right now is just dropping this jig down in these pockets in the milfoil. See if I can't get one that way.
What is it about whizzing that crankbait by him 7 or 8 times and then dropping a worm in there that makes him want to strike that worm?
Well, it's just, it just seems like not every fish will bite on the same thing. And plus, I think maybe the crankbait might help. If they don't hit it, it might help charge, you know, get the fish excited enough to maybe hit something that's maybe moving slower.
You said you were going to stop what you were doing and go start looking for big fish. Now, what does that mean? How do you look for big fish?
Well, there's a technique that I like to use out here with it. And what I do, I use this jig. It's called a roller jig. And I basically throw it out on the rocks and sand piles that are in the lake. These areas are typically not in the milfoil. They're on the outside of the milfoil. And sometimes the really big fish get out on these things, and the rollers can't be beat for getting those big ones.
And as you're doing this, it's not very likely that you're going to catch a lot of fish, but you might catch one good one here and one good one there. Is that correct?
I caught one on it today already, my biggest one. And I probably, as soon as we're done here, you can bet that I'll be back on it. Because I do have I got an okay size limit now, but I want to close the door on this tournament, and the rollers is the tool that can do that for me.
Well, show us how to do it, Jim. We'll let you fish on, and we'll talk to you a little bit later. You know, we've mentioned before that the guy who takes the biggest chance may be the guy who wins this tournament. Looks like Jim Moyna is prepared to take some chances and just make it happen.
And you know, he seems to have a lot of confidence. I don't want to use the word cocky, but I think he is a little bit, and that's great.
Oh,
man.
yeah, it's got to work in his favor. Now, none of these other anglers has mentioned taking that tactic either, going fishing a place with fewer numbers of fish, and the rock and sand piles.
Basically getting out of that grass.
Out of the
done that.
Characteristic cover, so that is chance taking, and that's what we like to see here.
You betcha. I take chances just being out here with you.
Yeah, you do every day. So we'll see what happens coming up.
The wind was blowing real hard in from that way, so I was having to keep the boat that way, and I got a certain position. I told my partner, I said, throw on that angle right there like that.
I think with this breeze, I'm going to go up here, turn around, and come back. This kind of works at a diagonal.
It's probably what a bass says. Give me a break. Yo!
Are we having fun yet?
I haven't really accomplished a lot in the last hour and a half. I got to just be nice to catch a fish somewhere and just settle in there for the rest of the day.
Well, Jim Moyna has everyone out here on the lake wondering about the ending. What's going to happen today? Most won't even let his boat out of sight, but I tell you, they might be advised to check out the other competitors.
Oh, come out of the grass. Come on, baby, I need you.
I'll tell you what, Kevin Worth's fish have matched Jim Moyna's all day long, and he's maybe one good one away from making this a real dogfight.
Yes! That's a
5-pounder, 4.5. Oh my gosh, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Oh my gosh. David Fritz, I love you, baby! Oh, man, I needed you, Lord. I needed that one. Need a little more. Need to be able to call one.
Back to Jim Moyna, same story, just looking for that one good fish.
One fish that they can do a little bit of culling with. And you know what? These guys are like jockeying for these different positions now. It isn't like the guy that comes in 5th place is going home short-handed, is it, Tom?
Oh, absolutely not. Of course, we got Jim and Kevin in this great race for first place and the $200,000 first prize.
Boy, they're neck and neck. We would think, anyway.
Second place, think about this, $100,000, which previous to this tournament was the biggest prize in competitive bass fishing.
Right, and the guy who wins that will probably have never made anything near.
Absolutely not. Third place, $50,000. Fourth place is $35,000, and $30,000 for fifth place. Today, the last man in the field today gets $30,000. So there's a big difference though between third place and fourth place, $15,000, and that's gonna get their attention as well.
So no wonder Jim is being very careful to cull the right fish. Wouldn't you hate to throw one away that was 2 ounces, about 2 ounces heavier, and you made a mistake?
And you lose by 1?
And you lose by 1.
Ooh.
You wouldn't want to do that. I think I said last week that at the final, it was probably going to be somebody winning by a ½ pound. I may have been right.
It's a tough day, I tell ya. It was the most exciting tournament I've ever done in my life. And I really enjoyed it. The FLW and Walmart and Ranger Boats, they have done just an unbelievable job. Just fantastic. Pure excitement.
I want to think that I won, but you never know. I mean, there's so many fish in this lake, and there's one particular angler I have real suspicions might do really well. One of the other guys, I'm not going to say, but just from the few comments I heard him throw around, it was like, man, sounded like he was on some fish.
Our weigh-in system has already eliminated Craig Wickland and is about to do the same with Dion here, but this is going to be fun, and Forrest Wood himself and Walmart's Terry Price are here to award some big cash when we find out who to award it to.
Fish for $200,000. I've just enjoyed it. It's been an exciting week, and I appreciate you all having these kind of tournaments.
Dion, I want to tell you that everyone who's been here watching the tournament all 4 days has been so impressed with your poise and the way you handle yourself. You're obviously a young fella, and you've done so well in spite of having a famous fishing father. I know that can be great, and I know that can sort of play on your mind a little bit, but everyone has enjoyed how cool and calm you were. I don't think most guys your age in this position would have been that collected.
I don't get too excited about anything.
All right. Well, you got to be a little bit excited to be here. Another big hand for Dion Hibden, who did so great here. And Dion, 3 guys left. So it winds on down. Going over to Jim Moyna, and Jim Moyna has got to have 2 pounds and 3 ounces. Bernie Schultz, our leader now, with 10 pounds and 14 ounces. He's bringing up 1 fish. He must be mighty proud of it. Must be mighty proud of it. It's got to be 2 pounds and 3 ounces. 2 pounds, 3 ounces. Ooh, it's going to be close. It's going to be very close. Such a live fish. Such a healthy fish. 2 pounds, 8 ounces. Jim Moyna still in it. This is why we do it this way. We want to stretch it out a little bit, make it a little bit more suspenseful. Our new leader is Jim Moyna with 11 pounds, 4 ounces. And now, Kevin Worth, You got to come up now with 1 pound, 3 ounces to stay in it. Kevin Worth. 1 pound, 3 ounces. Kevin now has weighed in 4 fish, so this is going to be fish number 5 for Kevin if he's got fish number 5. Third place here, $50,000. Fourth place, $35,000. Fifth place, $30,000. Kevin wants to go all the way. He wants the $200,000. This will be fish number 5 for Kevin Worth. Woo. Pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. Kevin Worth looking for 1 pound, 3 ounces. I think he's going to have that and plenty more. 4 pounds, 5 ounces. Kevin Worth is still in this thing. 3 of them still in this thing. Bernie Schultz and Jim Moyna as well. Kevin Worth, your new leader with 14 pounds, 7 ounces. Oh, Bernie. That's it. Bernie's gone. That's 5 fish for Bernie. Let's give him a big hand. I appreciate it. Bernie, I tell you what. Everyone expected you to do well in this tournament, so you have done well. Anybody that's made their living fishing this long, everyone who's been there near the top so many times, and we sure appreciate the effort you put for us today, the great show you put on for us today.
Well, it was definitely an experience. I didn't know what to expect from the tournament. It was a new format. There's a lot more money at stake. Even though I make my money fishing, that's a lot of money at stake. But the conditions changed. I got blown off my 2 best areas and was really fortunate to catch what I caught. Actually, it was a good day for sailing, not really a good day for fishing. But I would like to take this opportunity to thank one individual in particular that helped me get started in professional fishing a long time ago. And I don't get to see this person very often, but she's here today. And Nina Wood, if you would, she's the greatest. That's Forrest Wood's wife, in case you're wondering who the woman is behind the man. But 11 or 12 years ago, when I didn't know what I was going to do with my life, she kind of picked me up and dusted me off and said, "We want you on our team," and it's been the best thing that ever happened. I've got a family that has so much to thank. Thank you.
That's it. What more can you say? Another big hand for Bernie Schultz. He's a great bass fisherman. Everybody ready to do this? Jim Moyna has got to have 3 pounds and 4 ounces to win the $200,000 first prize. 1 fish left, maybe. So let's do it. Jim, go to it. Oh! Oh, no! Oh, my God! Don't do that to me! God! Oh, my God! Looking for 3 pounds, 4 ounces. Looking for 3, 4. Put it on there, Jim. Looking for 3 pounds, 4 ounces. 3 pounds, 4 ounces. 4 pounds, 1 ounce. Jim Moyna wins it. Kevin, stay up. We'll talk to you in just a second. Jim, take a deep breath now.
Oh, man. Oh.
Can you talk?
Yeah, I can talk. This is unbelievable. I mean, I put so much pressure on myself to do well in this tournament, and I really put a lot of expectations on myself, and to be able to come through like this, I had no idea if I could win today or not. All 5 of these guys have been catching fish all week, and I didn't know if I could catch any more or what, and it just panned out, I guess.
There he is. There he is. Oh, yeah. There he is. Yeah.
And the Fujifilm flashback was there to capture Jim Moyna's excitement when he caught what might have been a $200,000 bass.
Tournament's over.
Oh, man. It's over. It's over. I get these roller fish going, man. It's going to be done.
Okay. Jim Moyna, we knew this when we saw you first at this tournament, what a great ambassador for Minnesota bass fishing you are. And now you're going to be the ambassador to the world for bass fishing. You've won the biggest fishing tournament in the world. It's a pretty big responsibility, but I know you love the sport. Tell everybody how you did what you achieved today.
Well, I don't know. It's something I've never even dreamed of, doing something like this. I mean, when my dad was taking me out as a little boy and going out to some of the local lakes and stuff, we were, doing some bass fishing, my sister, and I mean, as a little kid, you and you see all these other pros, you know, it was still pretty small time back then as a kid, and then as it grows, and now it's, man, what a huge opportunity now, and I can't believe it.
We're going to bring up right now Terry Price and Forrest Wood have a very, very special something to show you here. Terry, come on up. I want you folks to look inside here. I think I speak for most of us in the room when I say that nobody's seen this all in one place.
That's correct.
And there, okay. Forrest is on the way. Come on up here, Forrest. Okay, Terry.
On behalf of Walmart and the FLW Tour, we would like to present you with $200,000 in first place. Congratulations.
Hold it up so they can take pictures of it there, Jim.
The Walmart FLW Tour is brought to you by Walmart. Always low prices. Always. By Ranger Boats. Still building legends one at a time. By Johnson Fast Strike 150 with fixed fuel injection. And by Chevy, the most dependable, long-lasting trucks on the road.
One more little presentation. I'll hold that for you. And be careful, Terry. That thing is heavy. This is the Forrest Wood Open Championship Trophy. It weighs 8 tons. There you are, Jim Mona, air champion of the 1997 Forrest Wood Open. Jim Mona.
Okay.
One more round of applause for it.
Sit right now on $30,000 richer minimum. That's pretty darn good, you know. Why not go for the gusto? Because my big fish go, they bite.
All right.
You know, it'd be over.